Chapter 484, Corporation. This chapter is updated by Novels.pl. Alcyone was released from Red Wish Emissary's control. She stepped back 2 steps and stood behind Jiang Yuochen. After 2 days of rest, Alcyone's injuries had recovered. However, half of the meridians in her body had snapped. Her 5 internal organs and 6 hollow organs suffered serious injuries. Therefore, Alcyone still looked ill. Her genuine chi was unable to circulate, which gave her a lack of energy and made her steps light. If it had not been for Jiang Yuochen's dragon pearl inside of him that assisted with her recovery, she might not have been able to survive up to this point. The shocked emotion on Red Wish Emissary's face was slowly wiped away and replaced with a charming smile. Swoosh! A golden beam layer suddenly emitted from her glabella and swept across her neck into her arm. Red Wish Emissary twisted her wrist slightly. Like a spiritual snake, she slipped out of Jiang Yuochen's fingers. Shwa! As her body flashed, Red Wish Emissary was divided into 8 phantoms and rapidly ran away in the distance. Jiang Yuochen was surprised. He used his spiritual power to distinguish the true body of Red Wish Emissary from the 8 humanly shadows. He took a step forward and quickly chased after her. In the blink of an eye, Jiang Yuochen caught up to and was on the left side of Red Wish Emissary. He regulated his genuine chi to flow into his arms and struck out one palm, attacking toward Red Wish Emissary's left shoulder. Pow! Jiang Yuochen's palm power transmitted and struck Red Wish Emissary's body. Despite that, Jiang Yuochen did not feel any physical presence. So, he bent his fingers and clawed forward, realizing that he had managed to only grab her thin red yarn. The red yarn let out a charming scent. Red Wish Emissary had already fled about 33 meters away and she was still wearing the same old red yarn, as if the clothes torn by Jiang Yuochen were not hers. After reaching behind the 9 glazed knights, she let out a long breath and stopped. Her fair-skinned forehead was all sweaty and, of course, she still had lingering fear. Red Wish Emissary now realized that Jiang Yuochen was indeed a force to be reckoned with. He was completely different from the other gods' favored sons. Although those gods' favored sons were able to defeat her, most of them would hesitate to kill her. However, Jiang Yuochen did not show any mercy toward her. If a palm landed on her, even if she managed to escape death, she would suffer some serious injuries. Jiang Yuochen grabbed the long red yarn and sniffed it. He asked, "Are you wearing a golden silkworm unbreakable jacket?" Red Wish Emissary smiled forcefully and answered, "That's correct. What I am wearing now is a red unbreakable jacket." Jiang Yuochen, you might want to come forward and count for yourself how many layers I am actually wearing. Golden silkworm was also another savage beast. The silk of a golden silkworm was known as the finest thread in the world. It could be knitted into the lightest and the thinnest clothes. Besides, the unbreakable jacket had some untold power and its defensive power was astonishing. The legendary martial technique of bodily movement, the peeling skin of golden silkworm, required a warrior to wear this unbreakable jacket in order to practice it successfully. Red Wish Emissary had just cast the peeling skin of golden silkworm, which allowed her to escape from Jiang Yuochen. In that case, let me count them. Jiang Yuochen's pinky finger pointed out, causing the genuine chi to turn into sword wave. The sword wave with a beaming sound flew forward from his fingertips. The 9 glazed knights had already erected the 9-star formation flag and were formed into a 9-pointed star array. Each flag was like a bright star with dazzling lights shining out. Moving at light speed, Red Wish Emissary stood at the center of the array. At the same time, she released her martial soul, which floated above her head. She began to circulate the array's genuine chi. Suddenly, the genuine chi gathered around her and increasingly centered on her body. The martial soul of Red Wish Emissary was already very powerful, which was comparable with the strength of the monk in the 4th change of the fish dragon realm. With the blessings of the 9-star array, the aura from her body rose gradually. The earth's spiritual chi could be seen moving around every space. Then, she struck out her palm and the palm power was unleashed, turning into a 3-meter-long handprint, which dissolved Jiang Yuochen's sword wave. With the help of invisible powers, Red Wish Emissary lifted off the ground. She stood in midair and said, The 9-star array can gather the power of all the 9 glazed knights into me. No matter how strong you are, it is impossible for you to hurt me. Those 9 people were selected as glazed knights due to the fact that they were the top masters in the completion of the heaven realm. The gathering power made them look even more terrifying. The eruption of Red Wish Emissary's power was far superior to Zhang Yuochen's full force of power. If Zhang Yuochen used the space collapse, he could break the array and, hence, kill Red Wish Emissary and the 9 glazed knights. However, Zhang Yuochen was aware of a strong familiar aura nearby in the shadows. There had to be a master hiding somewhere. If he dealt with Red Wish Emissary and the 9 glazed knights with full force, then that master who was hiding would ambush him. And if that happened, it would be the case of 2 birds with 1 stone for the hiding master. Zhang Yuochen looked in the direction of Blackie. At that moment, the 8 other glazed knights had surrounded Blackie and Orange Star Emissary in the center. Even though they were surrounding them, they were not able to act recklessly because Orange Star Emissary was in the hands of Blackie. The people who are hiding, I suppose they are masters who were sent by Page in the 3 great saints' powerful family. For me, the biggest threat is Page, so I must eliminate him first. Zhang Yuochen was in deep thought. Just as Zhang Yuochen had made up his mind, the voice of Red Wish Emissary was whispered into his ear. Zhang Yuochen, you should be aware that there is a group of masters hiding behind the bushes. We will lose our advantage if we keep on fighting. Zhang Yuochen looked at Red Wish Emissary. He realized that her lips did not even move a little. Apparently, she was using some occult art to whisper her voice into his ears. Red Wish Emissary continued, actually, there is no need for us to be enemies, we can even be allies. How about you leave me alone and Orange Star Emissary is all yours. There was also a competitive relationship between the 7 kills emissaries. Therefore, if Orange Star Emissary died at the hands of Zhang Yuochen, it would be beneficial for Red Wish Emissary. Zhang Yuochen squinted his eyes and nodded lightly as he agreed to cooperate with Red Wish Emissary. Red Wish Emissary was exhilarated when he saw Zhang Yuochen nod. She then ordered everyone, Zhang Yuochen is too strong, we shall retreat first. The 9 glazed knights began to move at a fast pace. The 9-star array kept spinning, taking Red Wish Emissary away in a systematic fashion. Orange Star Emissary was shocked and her face became pale. She asked, Red Wish Emissary, do you want to leave me behind? Red Wish Emissary replied, Zhang Yuochen's cultivation has improved too much. To stop him with a 9-star array is somewhat impossible. If we are to fight him forcefully, we will both fall into a vicious loop. Since that's the case, allow me to leave first. Upon returning, I will surely lead a few masters to save you. Red Wish Emissary and the 9 glazed knights disappeared briefly. Orange Star Emissary knew that Red Wish Emissary was speaking the truth. Although she was angry, she could not fully blame her. If she had not acted recklessly, she would not now be controlled by Zhang Yuochen's savage beast war pet and be unable to unleash her power. With the power of 2 9-star arrays, suppressing Zhang Yuochen would be possible no matter how strong he was. After Red Wish Emissary had left, Zhang Yuochen walked toward Orange Star Emissary and said, Orange Star Emissary, this is the 2nd time that you have fallen into my hands. There was somebody to save you last time, so I let you live. This time, death is your only option. Orange Star said seethingly, Zhang Yuochen, how about you order the savage beast to release me and we both fight like real men? Zhang Yuochen shook his head, I am here in this primitive world of the wood spirit because I have some important errands. There is no more time that I should waste on you. Blackie, just kill him, we must move now. Zhang Yuochen agreed to let Red Wish Emissary go because he was forced to do so, and partly because of Red Wish Emissary's high ambition. Red Wish Emissary wanted to become the Black Market Excellence Hall's first-class young master. Due to that fact, Zhang Yuochen could begin a cooperation with her and against Di. However, Orange Star Emissary was different. She was loyal to Di's orders and intended to kill Zhang Yuochen at all costs. If he let her live, she would still be Di's #1 assistant. Therefore, Zhang Yuochen could only let Red Wish Emissary go, but not Orange Star Emissary. WeChat, Fishani U5 Sina Weibo, Fishani U's Weibo.